The rhythm of our modern world feels artificial. We don't live by the seasons. We change time like that's something we can actually do. And it's like we've forgotten we live in these fragile human bodies that have very specific needs and rhythms. I feel it especially at the beginning of each new year when we're supposed to be energetic and full of optimism and setting lofty life goals. But all I really want to do is curl up in bed with a blanket, a good book, and a cup of tea. It's cold. Sometimes winter hurts. It's not just me, right? But what if the new year didn't begin in darkness and cold, but in bloom? In the promise of longer, warmer days and a future abundant harvest? What if, instead of starting the new year in the dead of winter, we just decided to start it when the earth starts it? When life starts pushing through the soil, when the first brave, determined flowers show their faces in defiance of the cold, to shout to the world that yes, there is always hope. What if I just decided to start the new year on the spring equinox? What would that even look like? How would I celebrate this new New Year's Day? What if the new year didn't begin in darkness and cold, but in bloom? I'm feeling chaotic. I feel unaligned with myself, with the world, with nature. There is no way I can start a new year productively like this. And I know I can't be the only one. For most of us, the new year starting on January 1st, it's not agricultural or seasonal, it's political. It comes from the Roman calendar reforms under Julius Caesar, and then his calendar in turn was reformed by one of the popes in the 1500s. But for most of human history, new beginnings were tied to the land, and the new year was at the spring equinox. So I guess the ancestors agree with me in feeling like starting the new year in the middle of winter is a bit off. There are modern cultures that either have huge celebrations for spring, have alternative days for starting the new year, or who actually do start the new year at the spring equinox. A few examples are the Lunar New Year in China, which starts at the end of winter, so almost spring. There's Holi in India, which is a big spring celebration, and the New Year in Nepal is in the spring as well, just to name a few. Persian cultures do still start the new year on the spring equinox, and they call it Nowruz. So I'm trying it too. This year, I'm going to treat winter as prep time, as planning time for the new year, which will start on the spring equinox. I've been plotting this winter. One thing I wanted to be sure and accomplish this year was to create my own self-study curriculum. I love the idea of constantly learning, and I've seen other people create their own self-study curriculums, but I've just not tried it before. So I decided this was the year that I am going to go ahead and dive into that. And I like to start every morning in scripture, so I decided that my self-study curriculum topic will be prayer, and everything that I set out for myself is going to be on the topic of prayer. So I did that by finding a Notion template, a free Notion self-study template on Notion. You can just search on Google and find one. And I don't actually understand how to use every little piece of this template that I found, but I went ahead and customized it for myself. So every morning I know exactly what I should be doing. And it's set up for the whole year. I also decided I want to focus on my liver. I'll be experimenting with a castor oil pack, eating foods that are nourishing for the liver. I'm going to be looking into vitamins and minerals and herbs that support the liver. I'll look into hydration, but I'm very much still working out all the details on that. Another health focus for the new year is working on regulating my central nervous system. I have a lot of details still to flesh out on this one, but I know that it's going to include coming up with a new night routine, and I'm sure I'll also incorporate aromatherapy, because of course. And then I've got a few more of the typical things like spring cleaning, decluttering, and mending clothing. While I've been plotting my goals for the new year, I've also been planning what I want to do on this new New Year's Day and what I can do now to prepare for that. I know I want fire to be involved somehow, but I don't have a real fireplace or a place to make a bonfire. So I thought what I'd do is make a beeswax candle with a wooden wick so it crackles. Lighting the candle will symbolize sweeping away, burning away all the negativity of the past year and making room for joy. I'll also be adding patchouli essential oil and petitgrain essential oil to it for symbolic reasons. Both of those are extracted from the leaves of the plant, which feels very spring as all the plants are displaying their leaves again. Patchouli is dark and very earthy, while petitgrain is green and fresh and light. So it feels very balanced, just like the Spring Equinox. Okay, so we've got all our different supplies here, but I did want to mention that this is just how to make a casual candle for yourself. There's a lot more that goes into making candles for other people and for sale, because if somebody's house catches fire or burns down because of your candle, you're liable. So just be aware that this is how you make a casual candle for yourself. All right, so we've got a 4-ounce candle making tin here. This is specifically for making candles, and this is a 4-ounce one. Nice and gold. We've got a scale and a Pyrex for measuring the beeswax. You can get really great beeswax pellets from a lot of places. This is just from Aromatics International. I've also got a graduated cylinder here for measuring out the essential oils and a glass stir rod to stir the essential oils with. And we've got the crackling booster wicks here that'll make it kind of like it's a little tiny fire. And then I'll be using patchouli essential oil as well as petitgrain essential oil. Now the essential oils, they are optional, but they are going to give the candle a little bit more symbolism like I mentioned before. But if you don't want to use essential oils, then the candle is going to have a really nice light beeswax honey smell. It's really pleasant. And if you are looking for a lot of therapeutic benefit from the candle, you're not really going to get that from a candle. So if you're looking for actual therapeutic benefits, then I would suggest putting this in an inhaler or put it in a diffuser. The first thing we're going to do is weigh out about 4.5 ounces of beeswax for this candle. So I'm going to take the lid off of this container, turn on the scale. There we go, set it down, hit tare. All right, and then we'll measure out 4.5 ounces of beeswax pellets. All right, and remember that was 2.4. We just need a little bit more. Now we'll take this Pyrex and put it in a double boiler. You can also put it on like a candle warmer or a tea warmer to go ahead and melt everything, but I'm gonna take this to the oven and put it in a double boiler and come back when it's all melted. Okay, I just checked on the beeswax and it is almost done. So while we're waiting for it to finish melting, I'm gonna go ahead and get the essential oils in this graduated cylinder. So for patchouli, I'm going to do 1.5 milliliters of patchouli for this candle. If you want to make this faster, you can pop the top off. I just, for some reason, couldn't be bothered. I don't know why. Okay, our beeswax is nice and melted. Let it cool off just a little bit before I add our essential oils to it. While we let that cool off, I'm just going to go ahead and choose the wick that we're going to use for the candle. And since it's a small candle, we're going to use one of the smaller wicks. Let's see, those are big. I'm going to go with the smallest wick here. You take it and you stick it in there. All right, so I've got my wick centered inside this little thing here. And this needs to go in the center here. So to make it stick, I'm just going to put a little bit of beeswax on the bottom here and then stick it in. And that'll help keep it centered when you're pouring the wax in. The wax is cooler now, so let's add the essential oils. We'll just pour it right in there. I'll trim the wick whenever the candle is hardened. The candle has a big crack, so I'll use a hairdryer to melt the top. Like I mentioned before, there's a ton that goes into making candles for retail, but it's okay, this one's ugly because it's just for me and it's about alignment, not perfection. Get up about an hour before the sun rises to observe the world waking up. Light the spring beeswax candle and think about its symbolism, burning away the negativity of the last year and making room for joy. As it becomes lighter, brew a cup of First Flush Darjeeling tea and savor it. Darjeeling First Flush tea is special. It's highly prized and often referred to as the champagne of teas. First Flush Darjeeling tea is made from the first spring growth of the plant, so it's an excellent tea to drink on the spring equinox. You're drinking spring itself. I got this First Flush Darjeeling from a company called Young Mountain Tea. They work directly with small Himalayan tea farmers and are part of a movement to decolonize the tea industry, helping farmers gain ownership in tea processing so the people who grow the tea actually benefit from its value. Almonds are part of this breakfast because almond trees bloom in the spring and each bloom turns into an almond. They symbolize new life and new beginnings. Yogurt really is just to carry the next two ingredients. Chia seeds symbolize growth and new life. Strawberries are just coming into season. Lettuce is also in season. Olive oil is not really symbolic, just necessary. Eggs symbolize new life. And again, salt is not really symbolic, just necessary. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Keep us here all simply in the springing of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard white, like nothing else by day, like ghosts by night, and make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the trees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill and off a blossom in mid-air stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. This tea is special too, though it's not as high end as the Darjeeling First Flush that we had earlier. We'll set that steep for a minute. This is a white tea that's made from ancient tea bushes in the early spring, so it's another taste of spring for us. I've got one more surprise for us. It is the Spring and Mulberry Lavender Rose Date Sweetened Chocolate. The ingredients are just cacao beans, dates, cacao butter, bee pollen, rose petals, and lavender. Their website describes it as a fragrant trio of lavender, bee pollen, and hand-picked rose petals come together with the richness of our chocolate to create a calming, subtly sweet treat reminiscent of spring. I feel like that makes it really perfect for our Spring Equinox New Year's Day. Ooh, it's got a really good snap. Ooh, it's nice and thick too. Here's yours. All right, this one's mine. It's like the more you chew, the more flavor keeps coming. Oh, it's so pleasant and it really does taste like spring. Wow, and it goes really good with this tea. That's a really perfect combination right there. Oh, it smells and tastes so floral and subtly sweet. What did you think? I know, right? I had no idea until this year, but it's common for cities or counties to give away free tree seedlings. So check to see if there's a tree seedling giveaway near you. I got a free baby eastern redbud that I've named Little Red. Redbuds are among the first trees to bloom in the spring, which feels pretty symbolic for the day. Observe golden hour outside. Notice how the warm light embraces the flowers and makes everything gentle and mysterious. As it gets darker, light the beeswax candle again, remembering to be in the moment, enjoying its warm light mingling with the sunset. Pull out a notebook and journal about the day, honoring the new year, inviting joy, and accepting alignment over perfection. I truly feel like some of the chaos has lifted. I feel so much more aligned with myself and with the natural world, and I know that's going to translate into better productivity and more joy in the everyday moving forward. I hope my little journey has given you some ideas and helped you see how you too can make the spring equinox your new year and reap some unexpected benefits. Keep living an unpoisoned life, my friends, and I'll see you next time.